Many people have been speculating that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually older? They say age is just a number, but in Meghan Markle's case, some argue that number might be wrong. According to royal biographer Tom Bower, Meghan's official story may contain missing pages and, he claims, could have an entirely different publication date. They want to hide their secrets, one commentator says, and I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know. Meghan has built a brand on reinvention. Hollywood sweetheart, royal rebel, global humanitarian, self-made survivor. But the plot twist some allege nobody saw coming is that her birth year might be the biggest acting role of her career. It all started, these accounts say, with a dusty copy of 17 magazine published in March 1997 that listed a bright-eyed Meghan Markle as 21 years old. Do the math, and that would place her birth around 1976, making her nearly 50 in 2025 rather than the mid-40s often reported. Critics ask, how can you get your age so wrong? That tiny number change, they argue, would rewrite everything from her early auditions to the royal fairy tale timeline. Her father has reportedly said her childhood memories never matched her public story. Industry insiders whisper she shaved years to fit the Hollywood mold, and the palace was silent. Once you start questioning Meghan's timeline, every photo, milestone, and carefully staged smile can look a little too perfect. Observers point to guests such as Nick Jonas, the Soho House founder, who was present at Meghan and Harry's wedding, and warned to buckle up because, they say, this could be the biggest royal rewrite since The Crown. This isn't presented here as verified fact, but as a chronology of claims and questions, a chronological crime scene, some have called it. And by the end, people ask, if Meghan Markle's age isn't what she says, what else might not be? Do you think she really edited her timeline? Or is this another media hit job? Drop your thoughts below. Others ask why her age would matter at all. They argue it could affect questions about fertility and the timeline of having children. If she were 4 years older than reported, they say, it would make her quick pregnancies harder to believe. Every mystery has a supposed smoking gun. For some, it was that glossy 1990 17 magazine page that identified a young Meghan as a 21-year-old student from Los Angeles. Harmless, until you realize that if the magazine were correct, she would have been older than the official record indicated at the time. That one printed number set off intense online debate. Reddit threads lit up and royal watchers grabbed calculators. Bower has been quoted as saying, the math doesn't lie. The birth year does. Some critics have called other parts of her backstory inconsistent. If the magazine were right, they say, Meghan wouldn't have been born in 1981, but closer to 1975 to 1976, which would mean during her early editions, she was entering her 30s rather than breaking in as a 20-something. And in Hollywood, age can be currency. Thus, the rumor goes that Meghan's team deliberately trimmed years from her resume. Not a total lie, but a creative edit to fit the script of youth and ambition. Reporters note the magazine page was never officially retracted, and that copies seem harder to find online. Some allege records disappeared from archives, and that nobody at the magazine formally commented, suggesting to conspiracists a deliberate erasure before royal attention arrived. Thomas Markle, her father, has publicly offered a different recollection of his daughter's timeline. He has said he remembers her being older and alleged she was working full-time when by the official timeline, she should have been in school. While Thomas Markle is a controversial figure and critics dispute his motives, some of his statements, old photos, school forms, work records he and others cite, are presented by supporters as receipts that quietly hint he might be correct. Neighbors from her old Los Angeles neighborhood have also been quoted in tabloids as recalling she seemed older than reported, and that line, she was always older than she said, became the internet's spark for Agegate. At the same time, skeptics point out inconsistencies in public biographies, archived articles, and acting databases, claiming some entries showed conflicting ages before being quietly updated around the time her royal relationship became public. According to critics, when Meghan walked down the aisle, the world was persuaded she was a 30-something Cinderella rather than a 40-something actress, and some say this was the product of savvy image management. Others go further and repeat salacious, unverified allegations published in gossip outlets about her past associations. Those accusations are widely disputed and lack corroboration in reputable reporting. By the time Suits made her famous, supporters say she was a seasoned professional finally getting recognized, while some detractors allege that old agency bios and acting databases were altered to suit a new narrative. Critics argue that once Hollywood tactics met palace protocol, records began to change. Old bios disappeared, age references were removed, archived articles were edited or returned 404 errors, and fans noticed gaps in publicly available documentation. Researchers who have examined early charity work, acting resumes, and alumni notices claim to find chronological gaps, mismatched dates, and puzzles where documents don't align. Tom Bauer describes the official story as a polished production with missing scenes, and interprets that as evidence someone has been rewriting the script. Meanwhile, other voices caution that internet sleuthing often produces false leads, and that removed or edited web pages can result from routine archiving, copyright issues, or normal updates rather than a coordinated cover-up. Some have speculated about more dramatic possibilities, questions about adoption, family bonds, and the details of births. But such claims are highly sensitive and remain unproven. They should be treated as rumor unless supported by reliable evidence. Regarding Archie's birth, critics have pointed to the rapid public appearances and a tightly managed timeline, and asked why some medical and logistical details were kept private. Defenders respond that privacy and security concerns often drive different handling for public figures and their newborns. What is clear amid all the noise is that Meghan has been a master of rebranding in the eyes of many observers. She transitioned from Hollywood actor to Duchess to an independent public figure with production deals and media projects. And to some, that pattern looks like strategic image management, what a few commentators call the Markle method of turning headlines into character arcs. Whether one sees that as media savvy or manipulation depends on one's perspective. The palace's usual silence and the speed of certain information changes have only fueled debate. When the dust settles, some say the internet will demand the uncut version. Until then, the narrative remains contested. Is Meghan the ultimate PR strategist or the most effective self-rebrander of our time? Who is buying her version of the story? Every missing year, every polished headline, and every edited bio that seems to age her in a favorable way paints a picture for skeptics. Meghan wasn't living a simple royal romance, but producing it.